Have you ever imagined what it would be like to hold the entire world in your hands? Not the globe, but the vast map of everything that has ever been discovered, and everything that is yet to come? In 1828, Edward Quinn, a humble amateur cartographer, dedicated his life to a project that many would consider impossible. He was neither an explorer nor a renowned scientist, yet he created something that would capture accumulated human knowledge like a faint light amidst the darkness. His historical atlas, published 2 years after his death, was not just a book, but a testament to humanity's tireless effort to decipher the mysteries of the world. Imagine, each page represented not just lands and seas, but also stories of forgotten civilizations, unexplored territories, and the limits of what we knew. Quinn wasn't just drawing lines on paper, he was illuminating the unknown, like a flickering candle pushing away the thick clouds of ignorance. But for Quinn, the world he designed was just the beginning. The Atlas began in 2348 BC, in a world shrouded in myths and religious stories, with narratives of the dispersion of clouds after the biblical flood. It was a vision of the past filtered through a cultural and spiritual lens. From then on, the Atlas narrated the rise and fall of empires such as ancient Egypt and Rome, while pieces of the world emerged little by little, like fragments of an incomplete puzzle. For thousands of years, human knowledge advanced at a slow pace. The clouds of mystery that Quinn tried to capture on paper were both physical and metaphorical. It wasn't just the world map that was limited, it was also our view of our place in it. For Europeans, the known world was nothing more than the banks of the Tigris and Euphrates. India, China, the Americas, they were distant tales, shrouded in the same fog of mystery that covered the cosmos above our heads. But Quinn's atlas was not a symbol of stagnation. It was a reflection of our persistence. He showed how, with each discovery, a new portion of darkness was replaced by light. Every river traced, every mountain drawn, every coastline identified was a triumph against the unknown. But what if these clouds never completely disappeared? What if, as we dispelled a layer of mystery, new depths appeared before us, even more impenetrable? In Quinn's era, the early 19th century, it seemed that humanity had won. All continents had already been mapped. There were no more unknown lands, just smaller gaps to be filled. But ironically, it was in this moment of triumph that the real questions began to emerge. What lay beyond the edges of the maps Quinn drew? What existed in the sky above us, beyond the reach of our primitive telescopes? And, more importantly, what was the true limit of our knowledge? These questions would transform our focus. No longer satisfied with exploring the planet's surface, we began to turn our eyes to the cosmos. The starry sky, which was once seen only as a backdrop for human myths and legends, has become the next great mystery. Just as Quinn's world was shrouded in geographic clouds, the universe was shrouded in a veil of infinite possibilities. However, these clouds of the cosmos were not just something distant hovering beyond our heads. They were also inside us. Throughout human history, we have always been surrounded by questions that seemed beyond our reach. Where do we come from? Where are we going? And why are we here? Do you think we have the answers now? Take your time. What comes next could change the way you see the universe itself. Edward Quinn's atlas was an achievement, but also a reminder of our fragility in the face of the unknown. What he didn't know, as he traced the boundaries of the visible world, was that his maps were a metaphor for what was to come. An endless journey to illuminate the vast regions of darkness that still surround our existence. What if I told you that even after centuries of discoveries, we are only at the beginning of this journey? How big is the universe? I'm not asking about what we've already seen. I want to know what's out there, where our eyes have never reached. At the beginning of the 20th century, as cities grew and modernity began to take shape, there was a mystery that intrigued the greatest astronomers of the time. How vast was the cosmos? For many people, the universe was limited, static, and predictable. The night sky, with its fixed stars, was a familiar and seemingly unchanging stage. But for scientists, every star, every cloud of cosmic dust was a clue, a key to something much bigger. In 1920, two giants of astronomy, Harlow Shapley and Heber Curtis, took the stage at the Smithsonian for a debate that would forever change our perception of reality. On the one hand, Shapley believed that the Milky Way was the entire cosmos, a small but complete universe where all the stars, nebulae, and planets resided comfortably within its borders. For him, looking at the sky was like looking at a globe, a finite space, with no surprises beyond what we already knew. Curtis, on the other hand, challenged this view. He argued that the universe was much larger, so vast that not even our imagination could comprehend it. He saw spiral nebulae, those bright patches in the sky, as entire galaxies, island universes containing billions of stars and possibly planets like our own. The debate was exciting but ended without a winner. Audiences left the event with one question echoing in their minds: what if we're wrong about everything? Meanwhile, on the other side of the United States, on Mount Wilson, young Edwin Hubble worked tirelessly to answer that very question. He had a secret weapon, the Hooker telescope, the largest in the world at the time. And it was this instrument that allowed Hubble to observe something that no one had ever seen before. When he pointed his telescope at the Andromeda Nebula, he didn't just find a speck of light, he found individual stars. Using Cepheids, stars whose pulsation allows distance to be calculated, Hubble realized that Andromeda was not inside the Milky Way, it was far beyond. In 1924, he sent a letter to Shapley saying, in a nutshell, something devastating. The Milky Way is not everything. Andromeda is another galaxy. It was a reality check. Suddenly the universe was neither small nor finite. It was vast, incredibly vast. But how vast? That's the question that continues to haunt us. Imagine you are holding a handful of sand. Each grain represents a star. Now imagine that each star is part of a galaxy, and each galaxy contains billions of other stars. This is the observable universe. 2 trillion galaxies, each pulsing with infinite possibilities. However, even this is just the beginning. The observable universe is just a fraction of what actually exists. Beyond our reach, beyond what the light has had time to reach us, there is more, much more. Entire galaxies disappear from our view every second, swallowed up by the accelerating expansion of the cosmos. It's like being stranded on an island, knowing there's an infinite ocean around you, but having no way to navigate it. And what do we do with this knowledge? That's the intriguing part. Knowing that we are surrounded by something so vast can be scary, but it is also inspiring. When we look up at the night sky, we're not just seeing ancient stars, we are looking to the past. The light that reaches us has traveled for millions, sometimes billions of years. Each star is a time capsule, a reminder that the universe is immeasurably old and that our existence here is incredibly brief. And yet within this immensity, there is a connection. Think about the moment you look at the stars. No matter where you are in the world, that vision is universal. It's a link to everyone who has ever existed, from the first humans who looked up to the sky in wonder to the scientists who dared to ask, what else is out there? But what does all this really matter to us, here and now? It matters because the universe is not just an abstract concept. He is within us. The atoms that make up your body were forged in the hearts of stars that died billions of years ago. When we look at the stars, we are, in a way, looking at our origin. Carl Sagan said it brilliantly. We are stardust trying to understand the stars. This knowledge should humble us, reminding us that we are part of something much bigger than our daily worries, something that transcends routine, but it should also inspire us to explore more, to ask more, to never stop searching. What if you could be part of that quest? This starts now. By understanding the history of the universe, you are not just learning about galaxies and stars, you are learning about yourself. So I invite you to continue this journey with us. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share your opinion in the comments. Your curiosity is the key to illuminating the next frontiers of the unknown. Because at the end of the day, the question that matters is not how big the universe is, but how big you are willing to dream within it. Do you believe that the universe has a limit, or is reality much stranger than we can imagine? In the previous part, we talked about the vastness of the cosmos and the limit of the observable universe. But what happens when we look beyond these limits? Not with telescopes, but with ideas. What we find is something that challenges not only our understanding of space, but of existence itself, the multiverse. For centuries we believed that the universe was singular, one, complete in itself. But as we advance in science, we begin to realize that our vision may be dangerously incomplete. The idea of the multiverse, which once seemed fantasy, is now considered a concrete possibility by many scientists. But what exactly is the multiverse? And what does this mean for us? Imagine our universe is a bubble, a small globe floating in what we call space-time. Now imagine billions, perhaps trillions of other bubbles like this, each containing its own universe with its own physical laws, histories, and realities. This is the basic concept of Level 1 multiverse. Inside it, these bubbles are part of the same cosmic fabric, separated only by the vastness of space. But why believe something so strange? It all starts with cosmic inflation. Shortly after the Big Bang, the universe underwent an incredibly rapid period of expansion. This phenomenon explains why the cosmos appears so homogeneous on a large scale, but it also suggests something even deeper. According to the theory of eternal inflation, this expansion did not happen uniformly. In some regions, inflation continues, creating new bubbles of the universe. Our universe is just one of these bubbles, one of so many that we will never be able to count. What if each of these bubbles is completely different from ours? Here's the most intriguing part. In many of these universes, the laws of physics can be radically different. Imagine a universe where gravity is so strong that stars never formed, or another where the fundamental chemical elements do not exist. Most of these universes would be sterile, incapable of supporting life. But in a few, conditions would be as perfect as ours, allowing not only the existence of stars and planets, but also conscious beings, maybe even someone, somewhere, looking up at the sky and wondering the same things you are. But this is just the beginning. The multiverse is not just a theory about space. It is an idea that redefines the concept of reality. What if everything that ever happened, every choice you made, every decision you made, existed in a parallel universe? This is the proposal of Level 3 multiverse, based on quantum mechanics. In the quantum world, particles can exist in multiple states at once, an idea called superposition. When we observe these particles, they choose a specific state. But according to the many worlds interpretation, each of these choices creates a new universe, one for each possibility. What does this mean for us? It means that, right now, there are versions of you living completely different lives. In one universe, you chose a different career. In another, you've never met some of the most important people in your life. And somewhere, there may be a universe where you made all the right choices, lived with no regrets. Sounds like a comforting idea, doesn't it? But it also raises a perplexing question. Which version of you is true? Maybe all, maybe none. The multiverse forces us to reevaluate not just the cosmos, but our own identity. Are we unique or just one of infinite possibilities? And science goes even further. There is a stranger, bolder multiverse, the Level 4 multiverse, where reality is not built with particles or energy, but with mathematics. At this level, every equation, every possible mathematical structure gives rise to a universe, not just parallel to ours, but completely different in essence. Maybe somewhere in this mathematical sea, there exists a universe where everything is just like it is here, except for one tiny detail that changes everything. What if our existence is just a calculation within something bigger? This question may seem abstract, but it has profound implications. If we live in a mathematical multiverse, we are not just explorers of the cosmos. We are also part of its logic, pieces of a puzzle bigger than we can understand. However, even with all these theories, the multiverse remains a mystery. We cannot observe it directly. We cannot prove its existence with the means we have today. But that doesn't mean it's just imagination. Many of science's greatest discoveries began as ideas that seemed absurd. So why does this matter to you? Because deep down, the multiverse teaches us something essential. The universe, or multiverse, is not about limits. It's about possibilities. Every star in the sky, every atom in your body, every thought you've ever had is part of something much bigger. Understanding the multiverse is not just a matter of science, it's a question of meaning, of finding our place in something infinite. But this is just the surface. What is really behind the mystery of the multiverse? And what will be the next step in the journey to understand reality? You're about to find out. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share your questions in the comments. Each new question brings us closer to unlocking the deepest secrets of the cosmos. Because at the end of the day, what is the multiverse if not a reflection of the questions we still dare not answer? Have you ever wondered if the very reality you know is a lie? What if everything you see, feel, and touch is but a small fraction of something much larger, something we can never fully understand? So far, we've explored the vastness of the cosmos and the idea that our universe may be just one bubble among infinite others. But now it's time to enter even stranger territory, a place where the rules we know, like time, space, and even logic, begin to fall apart. Welcome to the quantum multiverse, where every decision you make can create a new universe, and where the very notion of reality is put to the test. To understand just how strange this level of the multiverse is, we need to revisit one of the most famous experiments in science, the double-slit experiment. Imagine you have a barrier with two slits and a screen behind it. Now you shoot individual particles, like electrons, toward the slits. What do you hope to see? Maybe two particle beams corresponding to the two slits, right? But what actually happens is something completely unexpected. Instead of two beams, we see an interference pattern on the screen, something that should only occur if the particles were waves, not particles. It's as if each electron passes through both slits at the same time, interfering with itself. But how can a single particle be in two places at once? This question has baffled scientists for decades, and the answer led to one of the most revolutionary concepts in modern physics, the idea that a particle can exist in several states simultaneously until it is observed. It is the famous wave function collapse, which transforms all possibilities into a single reality at the moment of measurement. But what if that's not the whole story? In the 1950s, a young physicist named Hugh Everett III proposed something radical. What if, instead of collapsing into a single reality, the wave function continued to exist, but in separate universes? This means that with each quantum event, the universe divides, creating multiple versions of reality. In a universe, the electron passes through the left slit. In another, through the crack on the right. And in yet another, he goes through both. Each possibility is realized, but on a separate timeline. And what does this mean for us? It means that right now there are countless versions of you living parallel lives in different universes. In one of them, you chose a completely different path in your career. In another, you've never met some of the most important people in your life. And in some universes, you may not even exist. This is the multiverse of many worlds, and its main implication is both fascinating and disconcerting. What we call reality is not absolute. It's just one of many possibilities. So what makes this reality special? Why are we here, now? This question is a breathing point, a chance to reflect. Think about all the decisions you made today. What to eat for breakfast, what clothes to wear, whether or not you responded to an important message. Each of these choices may seem small, but in the context of the multiverse, each of them creates an unfolding, a new universe. And yet you are here, right now, watching this video. It's almost as if this universe was chosen especially for you. But was it? To add more mystery, consider this. In 2019, researchers performed an updated version of the double-slit experiment, this time using whole atoms. The result? The same interference pattern. Even on a larger scale, wave-particle duality and the idea of superposition remain. This isn't just a quirk of electrons or photons, it's something fundamental about how reality works. And this brings us to an even deeper question: where do the possibilities end? If each choice creates a new universe, does that mean there are universes where the laws of physics are different? Universes where gravity doesn't exist, or where light travels faster than sound? Scientists are still exploring these questions, but most agree that the quantum multiverse is incredibly diverse. And within this diversity, an unsettling possibility arises. Somewhere out there, there may be a universe where everything is exactly the same as this one, except for one detail. A single grain of sand, an unspoken word, one more star in the sky. These small deviations may seem insignificant, but they have huge implications. Think about the so-called butterfly effect, the idea that the flapping of a butterfly's wings can cause a hurricane on the other side of the world. In the context of the multiverse, every small detail can create an infinite unfolding of new realities. But is this science or just fiction? The truth is, we still don't know. The quantum multiverse is an interpretation of quantum mechanics, and although it is fascinating, there is still a lack of direct experimental evidence to prove it. However, it solves many of the questions that challenge modern physics, especially the problem of wave function collapse. And perhaps the fact that we can't directly prove its existence is exactly the point. These parallel universes, by definition, are beyond our reach, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. What if in the end the multiverse isn't about physics, but about meaning? Think about it. Each version of you, in each universe, is living a unique life, with its own joys and challenges. This means there is no right version of you. Each version is equally valid, and by accepting this, perhaps we can find a new way to value our own existence, because even if there are infinite realities, this one, with all its imperfections and uncertainties, is still unique, and that's something worth exploring. And you, what would you do differently if you knew that there were infinite versions of you out there, experiencing infinite possibilities? This is the invitation to continue this journey. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave your questions in the comments. Because at the end of the day, the greatest discovery is not what's out there in the cosmos, but what it teaches us about who we are. What if all the questions we've asked so far about the universe, the multiverse, and even our own existence lead us to a single answer? An answer that's as simple as it is impossible to ignore. We are part of something infinitely larger. We have reached the end of this journey, but the feeling that there is more to explore has never been so intense. Along the way, we faced ideas that challenged our understanding of reality. We discovered that the universe may not be unique, that time and space can fragment into infinite possibilities, and that our own existence is just one among countless versions. But now, faced with all these possibilities, an essential question arises: what does all this mean for us? At the heart of all these theories, there is something that never changes: the search for meaning. From Edward Quinn's first maps to the latest advances in theoretical physics, we are constantly trying to understand where we fit in this vast puzzle. The multiverse is not just a scientific idea, it is a powerful metaphor for the human condition. Each parallel universe, each quantum branch, reflects our struggle to give meaning to the choices we make and the paths we follow. But do we need the final answers to find our place in the cosmos? Maybe not. Perhaps the greatest gift of these ideas is the reminder that no matter how many versions of us there are, this life, this moment, is unique. This is where you can make a difference, where your decisions matter. If there are infinite universes where you are someone else, or make different choices, that only makes this version even more precious. It's a reminder to live with purpose, to explore not just the cosmos, but the universe within you. And yet, science continues to provoke us. Some physicists argue that the multiverse may explain why our universe seems so perfectly suited for life. Others say it is just a byproduct of natural laws, and there are those who believe it will never be more than a fascinating idea without hard evidence. But like many of humanity's greatest discoveries, the true value of these ideas lies not just in the answers they offer, but in the questions they force us to ask. And you, what will you do with this knowledge? When you look up at the night sky, try to remember, every star you see is part of something infinitely bigger. Perhaps it is a reminder that, even in such a vast cosmos, your existence is meaningful. Perhaps it is an invitation to imagine, explore, and keep asking, because in the end, curiosity is what connects us to the unknown. It's what makes us human. But this journey doesn't end here. There are even more mysteries waiting for us. Universes beyond universes, realities beyond reality, and together we can keep exploring. What if I told you that this is just the first page of a new chapter? So don't stop now. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave your questions or reflections in the comments. Your curiosity is the fuel that keeps this exploration alive, and your voice is part of that journey, because every comment, every thought shared, brings us closer to discovering what it means to be here. And who knows, maybe in some parallel universe another version of you is watching this video and wondering the same things. But here, in this reality, it's you who has the power to make a difference. Thank you for being part of this incredible journey, and remember, the story doesn't end here. Get ready for the next video, where we continue to unlock the secrets of the cosmos and explore the questions that shape who we are. Because in the end, the greatest mystery in the universe is you.